Who were you before the programming? Before the trauma, the bullies, and the bad bosses? Who are you at your essence? And who did you come here to be? Hi, I'm Amanda Baudier.
And I'm Emilia Salas.
And this is Becoming, the podcast.
Each episode, we dive into raw stories of healing and share grounded tools for personal transformation so you can become more fully, wholeheartedly you.
And by tuning in, your becoming journey is already in motion. Welcome back to the Becoming podcast. I'm Amanda, here with Emilia.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about a topic that is very popular these days, which is being DeLulu, short for delusional. And we're going to play around with a little hot seat coaching. I am actively working on helping Emilia become more DeLulu in her process. And so we're going to talk a little bit about it. And also, I'm going to put Emilia on the hot seat. You cool with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
A little exposure therapy.
A lot of exposure therapy, but I'm ready for it.
So, I want to start out by saying there's a lot of people telling you to be DeLulu on the internet. And I want to caveat that my take is a little bit different. First of all, I'm a Capricorn with a lot of childhood trauma, Ivy League degree. I'm an executive coach, right? So I have a lot of groundedness in my energy, in my chart, period, in my life. I struggled with not being DeLulu enough, being too practical, being too realistic. And what I see with a lot of people is that they're not striking the right balance of DeLulu to got to pay the bills, got to put one foot in front of the other, right? Yeah. And so what I often talk about is an 80-20 balance, which is 80% of your energy needs to be spent believing, working towards your highest possible potential, right? If your goal is to be, the biggest healthy soda brand in the world, you have to know what that looks like, what that means, and believe that it's possible, even if everyone around you is saying, there's a lot of competition, it's a saturated market, you don't have enough, moat around your brand. You have to be that DeLulu, 80%. 20% is spent in risk mitigation. Yeah. Savings account, making sure that your ass is covered while you're building towards the DeLulu. Now, there is a scientific reason why I give this kind of breakdown, the negativity bias. And I'm sure many of you have heard of this, but we as humans are naturally going to focus on the danger, the risks, what could go wrong, the worst case scenario. And our nervous system, right, its job is to scan for threats. Am I safe or am I threatened? Am I safe or am I threatened? Your nervous system does not care if you're successful. Right. Your nervous system does not care if you're happy. Right. Your nervous system only cares if you're safe. Right. So anything outside the boundaries of your comfort zone, ding, 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 your nervous system says it's danger.
And your brain loves a pattern. So as soon as you establish that pattern, it's going to be super efficient and keep you there and keep you there and keep you there as long as it possibly can.
Yeah. And so if you are somebody who maybe thinks this advice to be DeLulu is for people who are DeLulu, right? It's not for people like you. That doesn't make sense. That's not grounded.
Yeah.
Should I tell the Lady Gaga story?
Yes.
Okay. And then we'll dive into the coaching. So
definitely.
I used to be the head of events at a little nightclub called Marquee. And back in the day, before Lady Gaga was anyone, before she had released a single song, her manager contacted me and sent me her press kit, asking if she could perform at our club on a Tuesday night for free. And we looked at this press kit and we're like, who is this? Lady Gaga? Who is this white girl with weird sunglasses on? This is weird. This is not cool. We wouldn't even let her perform for free on a Tuesday until Akon called. And then, they had that song together. So then Akon was like, well, if you let her perform, I'll come out and do my verse. And we were like, fine. 5 minutes on a Tuesday. Okay. You all know who she became, right? She became Lady Gaga. I mean, Grammy Awards,
Lady
Oscars,
Gaga.
right?
Yeah.
She believed when she was Stephanie with brown hair getting teased. And I think many of us have heard her, her stories of growing up in New York City, being the poor girl at the rich school getting teased. She believed and she knew who she was becoming. Yeah. She was becoming Lady Gaga. And she named herself. You don't name yourself Lady Gaga unless you really believe your own bullshit, unless you have that right amount of DeLulu. Now, to be clear, she was doing the work.
Yeah.
practicing, working, singing at clubs for free, right? It's not that she just said, I'm Lady Gaga, everyone should fall at my feet and it's going to happen tomorrow. No, like she did the work. But if she just believed she was going to be like Stephanie, the singer, she probably would have performed at like, the Blue Note or whatever, like made it $5,000 a gig, wedding singer, whatever. Yeah. No, that was not her vision. Her vision was Lady fucking Gaga. And she got there. And I know people do not get to those heights without fully believing. Yeah. You don't have to believe that it's 100% going to happen.
Right.
But you have to believe there's a chance.
Right.
And you have to recommit to that vision over and over and over again. It is your North Star.
Yeah.
DeLulu is your North Star.
It is your North Star.
It's your North Star.
And it's aligned with your core self. And it's something that it is so deeply grounded in who you are and in the reality that you want to create for yourself that it transcends and it enforces you to take action, right? Yes. Because you can sit with the DeLulu all you want. I can think and dream all that I want. But if I'm not really reinforced in that DeLulu, I'm not going to do anything about it.
Right. Real and true commitment to DeLulu puts the best fuel in your tank that is possible. Yeah. When I think about my ultimate dreams coming true, I'm enthused. I'm motivated intrinsically. When I think, I'm never going to make it, there's too much competition, I'm not pretty enough, I'm too old, what does that do? It demotivates me. It makes 100%. Me not want to do the things that might get me where I want to go. So, you ready for some hot seat coaching?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's get in there.
I mean, I always start my DeLulu conversations with asking, like, is there a moment that you envision in your future that feels too beautiful, too expansive to name, to hold? And like, are you willing to name it?
Other than the thing that I'm doing literally right now.
This is small fucking potatoes, sister. This is not DeLulu. You're already here, so it doesn't count.
I guess. I think for me, the power and I don't mean power as in I'm powerful, but the power of experiencing and witnessing a moment where I am in a space with a group of individuals leading some sort of transformative experience that when it comes to a close, every single soul is moved and feels seen and feels honored and appreciated and just the purest form of love. If I dream of a day where I am creating those types of experiences and experiencing them with others and being able to live that.
When you hold that vision for yourself, what do you feel in your body?
Well, right now, because I'm sitting in this type of environment, it's intimidating, and there's certainly I even kind of struggle saying it because there's resistance here. I'm feeling there is a half of me that sees it, feels it, wants to experience it, and then there's the other half of me that's resistant, that is saying that has nothing to do with what you studied in college. That has nothing to do with the last 12 years of your career. That has nothing to do with almost any of your track record. So what are you doing? What do you mean? Yeah. And how elusive? What does this experience mean? How is that even going to manifest into anything? Like there are so many questions around it.
That voice has got a lot to say, huh?
So much.
Yeah. I'm curious if you were to think about this like parts work, right? There's a part of me that X, there's a part of me that Y.
Yeah.
Do these parts have a name, an age? Are they related to other people in your life, a parent figure?
Yeah, I mean, I love parts work. If anyone hasn't looked into IFS, internal family systems, Google that shit right now because it really, especially if you relate to meditation and kind of going inward, parts work is life-changing. And so, there's definitely parts around that. There's one part is, I mean, I guess the component of the voices that are telling me, what are you doing? There's little me who witnessed people following their dreams, but me feeling like I needed to do a responsible thing for myself and I needed to make the smart decision and follow the path of finance, which I did, and studying that and almost prove it to others, but also prove it to myself that this is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
This is this is what's going to create safety. This is
Mhm.
what's going to make logical sense.
Yeah.
I am analytical. I can do this. And
Mhm.
this is what I need to stick to.
Yeah.
And the older that I've gotten, the more that part of me, it's always going to be in my system and it's always going to be there. But she doesn't really fit anymore.
Yeah. I wish I had my notebook. If we were in session, I would ask you to really unpack what some of these words mean for you today. Realistic, smart, logical, safe. And I would also invite the possibility that she might not always be there, right? Like
Sure.
sometimes these parts of us are true parts of us that are meant to be, included in the tapestry of who we become. And sometimes they are only protective responses. There are parts of my personality that I would have told you when I was 20 or 25. Oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that. And I can tell you at 41, like it was solely in response to my environment. It was solely in response to who I had to be in a family system.
Right.
I was a party girl, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't touched alcohol in 7 years. So when you think about the other part, right? Because this part got a lot to say. If you had to give the other part of you, right, the part of you that is aligned with this future vision, does she have a name? Does she have a color? Does she have an archetype? Does she have an energy?
Well, it's funny because they both are deeply rooted in childhood for me, both of them. And I cannot remember a day where I was not living with two really polarizing voices and personalities in my mind. One that is really kind of like the executive route and the big city girl, and then the other that's a little more esoteric and a little more spiritual and a little more like fairy-like in the forest. And so that other part of me taps into that version of my younger self that was here and dreaming to make an impact.
Yeah.
That simple. I mean, for as long as I can remember, when people would ask me, what do I want to do? And I would really sit with that. It's how am I going to make an impact? What am I going to leave behind?
What's beautiful about what you shared is that one of the best ways to tap into our DeLulu is through inner child work, right? Because there was a time, and I have kids who are 5 and 9, and it is the greatest joy of my life to witness who they came to be and hold that with sacredness. So they hopefully don't have to do as much work as I've done. But when you think about these younger versions of you, there is a process, and journaling can be very helpful of writing to them, right? Asking them questions. Because I actually believe that we are the wisest. My 5-year-old daughter is my greatest teacher. Yeah. The way she moves through the world, the way that she sees others, the thoughts that she has about herself and for herself. I have nothing to offer her other than an ear, a listening ear. We're going to go to the swimming hole after this all together. Yay, a girls' night. And so knowing that, and I would question, not saying that it's true, but I would question if, because I don't know too many little girls who have a true feeling that they need to be an executive or that they need to, And so like I can say for myself, I saw a dad who, he hated work, but he made money, and a mom who never made any of her own money. And I said, I don't want to be that. I need my own money. I need independence. I need freedom. And so, you won't unravel this in this call, but going into those spaces and those ages, did this part of you make that part wrong? Did this part of you tell that part that it wasn't realistic, that it wasn't logical? What's real, right? Like what's realistic,
what is real, even?
I had a thing I used to say in my 20s, I'm not a pessimist, I'm a realist. Oh, what? Because I was conditioned to believe that life was meant to be hard. Yeah. That fun was a waste of time, that leisure, what's that? So going into this part of you, this more hopeful, fairy-like part of you, what I want us to do is always reinforce what's already there, what's innate to us, versus like trying to implant something from outside. Yeah. When you think about her hopes and dreams, the way that she moved through the world, how would you describe her energy? Was it buoyant? Was it, what was her energy like?
Everyone's definition will be different, but
for you,
for me, anyone who knows me knows my deep love of reading. And there is a moment when I am so immersed in a book and the environment around me is so calm and cozy and safe and present and all of those words and that sort of sensation, that is what she embodies.
Yeah.
And that is the presence that I hope I'm most connected to. And I hope that is the version that I'm most often showing up as.
Yeah.
So there is this sense of like a warm hug, but you're so immersed in what you're doing that there's also this pristine presence and awareness of everyone around you with like a sprinkle of like magic and excitement and just wonder.
Yeah.
Just a lot of wonder.
Yeah. And so what I would advise as you are cultivating your connection to what DeLulu means for you, because DeLulu at the end of the day is really just something that we were taught was impossible that's actually possible.
Yeah.
Something that we want to believe in, but maybe don't 100% naturally and need a little coaxing to get there. So the more that you can cultivate that energy, the more that you can be with other people, because having other people hold a vision for us, like I told you this, but I was at that event a couple weeks ago, and they put on the invite, Wisdom by Amanda Bodier. And I was like, oh, fuck. No pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure. It literally just said wisdom. It wasn't like keynote speech or whatever. And I had to sit with it and be like, no, I always wanted to be the wise woman. That was always who I was meant to. Nobody wanted to hear that when I was 5 years old. They're like, shut up. You think you know it all? I did. But now other people are in my DeLulu with me. So maybe it's not DeLulu, maybe it's real. And, I, as a vision holder for you, I'm like, you already are this. It's a matter of you feeling safe enough, right? Going back to our last episode about fear, to let other people be in that experience of you and feel that energy radiating from you and be fully embodied, right? Fully dropped into it. And that might take a little time.
Yeah.
And that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Like the beauty of DeLulu is that it's not actually an end gool, right? It is an expansiveness that is ever expanding and expanding, ever expanding. But that word needs an extra syllable.
Yeah,
ever expanding, ever widening.
Yeah,
and it just means the world to me to see people light up in that way. Like, what else are we doing here?
You're right.
You don't want to. I mean, no offense to the accountants, but like. You don't want it. You have one precious life, right? We're going to quote Mary Oliver this episode instead of someone else, right? What are you going to do with your one precious life? If not be as DeLulu as your nervous system can handle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts? Thank you for opening up to us so vulnerably today. You have some journaling assignments to do after this.
I definitely do.
Yeah.
I think and everybody says this, but if you can really integrate it, it is not about perfection. And I think that reframe of shifting it from, this goal and this thing that I have to achieve and this metric or this milestone that I have to reach, living in this DeLulu or delusion, and it allows the space for vulnerability. It allows space to have these imperfect moments. It allows space for you to show up exactly as you are, where you are at, in the process of creating the reality that is most aligned with your core self and that you are meant to be living, without this like heavy pressure of a goal or a metric tied to it.
Yeah. And we'll have to get to this in another episode, but I think a lot about self-love only exists in form. Like, it's not a thought, it's not a concept, it's not an energy, it's action, right? What do you do out in the world to prove that you love yourself, right? And being delusional about what you're capable of, what's possible for you, what you deserve, how much space you're allowed to take up, how big you can be, how sparkly you can be, how comfy you can be, how peaceful you can be. Like, that is self-love in action.
Yeah.
And just so that you guys know, every fourth Sunday in the Becoming membership, we will be doing what I'm calling community coaching. And obviously, as the community evolves, the process is going to evolve. But we're going to give people the opportunity to be hot seat coach, to coach each other, right? Yeah. Because none of this matters if we're not taking action, right? Yeah. None of this matters. I don't want your DeLulu to live in a vision board. Yep. I want your DeLulu to live in your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar or your Notion.
Talk the talk.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Even if that DeLulu takes, 20, 30 years to build up to, we want to be a support system for you as you embrace your DeLulu era. So thanks. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Becoming the Podcast. If this episode hit home for you, please leave a review at Apple or Spotify and share us with a friend.
And if you're ready to dive deeper, head to www.becoming-collective.com and join our membership community. Use code BECOMINGPODCAST, all lowercase, for 20% off your first month.
We can't wait to welcome you into Becoming.